Oh my gosh. Hey,
Wait,
everyone.
shouldn't there be a credits rolling right now? Song, something to introduce us to the podcast? Why are we here, Kerri?
An ad, maybe? I don't know. So, we are here because I'm so excited. I'm jumpier than a virgin at a prison rodeo
Mm.
because, like Sophia and Rose peddling bacon, lettuce, and potato sandwiches,
Mm.
like Sophia wanting to sell water from the hose out back,
Mm.
and like Stanley Zbornak becoming the king of potato openers,
Mm.
I too have just started my own business that is really more like a side hustle, but I feel like a big bad boss lady when I call it my own business.
Mm.
I am taking my decade of experience as a TV writer and I am offering to the other writers out there in the world script feedback services,
Mm.
career consultations. I have workshops lined up on
Mhm.
how to learn how to take your life stories and transform them into a killer pilot script and a TV show. So, for you upcoming writers out there, for you writers
You.
out there, anybody from, the newest writer to an experienced writer that needs a refresher, my services, it's called Breaking Story. I am here to help you have the most solid script that you can
Can I give a
have.
can I give a testimonial in the sort of like, on those lawyer commercials when they break away to the personal story of the person who wants to talk about how that person got them a lot of money, and so they have that
Yes,
thing.
please
I'm
tell
going to do that
everybody
for
how
you
much
right here.
money.
Okay, I have to come into the camera though. If you're
Okay.
watching this is the commercial part where I tell my personal story. Okay. I was lost. I had a story to tell, and, well, I didn't really know how to tell it. Where does it start? Where does it end? What's in the middle? How do I structure it? I don't know. And then I went to, what's the website?
Breakingyourstory.com.
And I found out that, wow, I can have help from an expert who can maybe teach me to not only write a great story, but maybe someday sell it to a big old studio. Thanks, Kerri Doherty.
Oh, what a beautiful testimonial. I love
Thank
that. Thank you for the
you.
kind words. So
Yes.
I would love to read your script out there, listener, whether it's your first draft, your 24th draft. As a wise and annoyingly accurate writer once said, writing is rewriting. Some of my
Mm-hmm.
best work started off as a turd on a page until I got some trusted feedback. So, with your script, I can provide bigger foundational notes on the conciseness of things like themes, stakes, obstacles, character wants versus needs, the use of
Mm-hmm.
supporting characters, all that stuff, all the way down to I can give you page notes, I can give you joke
Mm-hmm.
punch ups, all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So,
All of it.
if you have a script, if you have a pitch for a TV show, go to breakingyourstory.com and check it out because it's my new side hustle.
That's breakingyourstory.com.
Now let's get into the episode.
breakingyourstory.com.
Picture it, Los Angeles, 2024.
Oh, welcome to Out on the Lanai, the only Golden Girls podcast you're ever going to need to listen to. Who am I? I'm Jane Pauley.
You usually only do those on the Rusty Anchor Happy Hour when you say...
Today I am Jane / HAlanScott, Sadie Pine / Pauley. That's right.
I was
Serious
not
journalist.
expecting that. This is a silly night. I am here for it. I'm
Mm-hmm.
Kerri Doherty. Today we're doing another Golden Rewind where we go back and rewatch our favorite episodes of The Golden Girls and offer new insights since we first started breaking down these episodes way back in 2014. And it's time to bust out your Sony Beta camcorder and take a shot every time you hear the name Fess Parker, because we just rewatched season 2, episode 20. Whose face is this anyway? That is my favorite Drew Carey game show.
That is good.
And
that's a good game show.
Since the ladies spend so much of this episode with a camera in their faces documenting their
Mhm.
every move and naked pedicure, we are breaking down this episode with the perfect guest. He's a good friend of mine. He's someone who knows what it's like to have a camera in his face, documenting his every move. We will be talking to my good dear friend, Zack Wickham from Bravo's hit reality show, The Valley, which is a spinoff of Vanderpump Rules. We're so excited. We just had a really, really great chat with Zack talking about this episode. But before we get into it, today in the GGVIP Club, I've been talking for so long. I'm almost done. You all are getting an all new, they're like, is HAlan going to the bathroom? Yeah. You're all getting an all new Rusty Anchor happy hour in the GGVIP Club. Since this weekend is Mother's Day, we decided we were going to talk about our favorite and the most iconic sitcom moms.
Yeah, but I think I said on the thing, I'm going to do it. I didn't say this on the Rusty Anchor. I saved this exclusively for the main episode. I think my favorite mom, besides my own moms in my life, is you, Kerri. You're my favorite mom.
What? I'm your favorite mom? Is it because I'm like a little bossy and like,
well, no, you're
I
the
make
mom.
your lunch for you.
No,
and I cut it into little triangles. No.
Yeah, I wouldn't eat your lunch. It would be too healthy. But you're my favorite mom because I know that if we were in a situation like, you know, that movie San Andreas where
I couldn't watch it, but I know it.
Oh God, we love that movie. It's so bad good, but like we love a whole like, oh my God, the world's ending movie. Anyway, you're the type of mom that if push came to shove and an earthquake came and you needed to like lift up a rock to like save little Oreo / get us out of a hairy situation, you would lift up that rock and then the rock would come down and save us. But like you would have to be the one that has to lift up the rock first. And
right.
That's why
I would have that super mom strength that moms
and
get.
I would just be in the corner. Literally, if you're watching this on the YouTubes, which you can the Monday following or right now on Patreon, I would just be in the corner scared, being like, I'm putting on my lip gloss just in case a camera comes. Please, just lift up the rock, Kerri. I'll look great. I'll do the talking. You do the work.
You're like, here's a hand. Oh, no, wait, shit. I just got my nails done. No, you do it.
Yeah,
you do it.
That's literally me. That is quite literally me. Oh,
I saw I didn't even see San Andreas. I saw the trailer for it in IMAX at an IMAX theater. I think I was seeing Mad Max Fury Road, and just seeing the trailer for San Andreas was enough that I spent like $600 on earthquake preparedness stuff because I was so terrified just by the trailer. I was like, there's no way I can see this movie.
I also love that Paul Giamatti's in it. Talk about high-low actor. You know what I mean? That man can go from Oscar movies to San Andreas, like with just the snap, like Thanos. Just, you know, he's just so quick with those things. So I love that. A journeyman actor, as they say.
I love how close you got to the camera to say that. I want to take a screenshot of that and make that be the image that pops up every time you call me. Well, you can listen to more of this type of banter and find out who our favorite sitcom moms are by going to patreon.com/Golden Girls Podcast. I also want to say for anybody listening, we realized after we recorded and broke down this episode with Zack, I am, listeners, suffering from the worst allergies today. I'm so sniffly that I am breathing out of my mouth, and apparently my mouth breaths are quite prominent in this episode. So just please just know that there is not a zombie behind us.
Can I do an impersonation of Kerri in the main part of this episode? I'm not making fun of you, but I'm making fun of you. Okay.
Yes, make fun of me.
No.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you a question, and then you just answer the question, and I'll be you.
Okay.
Well, okay. So I'm going to ask you a question. Okay. I'm going to be like, oh, what did you think of Blanche wanting to get plastic surgery in this episode?
Well, you know, I feel like plastic surgeries, you know, it's for some people, and I just want to empower people who feel like it might make them feel better about themselves. I'm so sorry. You texted me like halfway through recording.
Wait, and I'm gonna read the text verbatim. Okay, this is the text, okay? This is while we're recording. I feel like this is a Rusty Anchor happy hour in the opening. Everyone's getting a peek into our lives.
You're getting a peek at what Rusty Anchor happy hour is.
I literally text because Kerri and I text while we record when we have like notes we need to tell each other because, you know, we keep it real here. We don't have a producer.
Like, hey, throw to a break after you finish talking about this.
Or what often is the case, me being like, okay, we can't talk about this anymore. We got to move on. Like we got to.
Even though, you're usually texting that. I'm usually the one that tangents. Now, before you read it,
Okay.
I notice as we're recording, I notice you're looking down. And I know when HAlan is looking down, HAlan is looking at their phone. And I was like, oh
Yeah.
no, what am I
Oh
doing wrong? What am I
no.
doing?
No, I'm technically looking at the keyboard. Because I can type without looking at the keyboard, but when I need to be very quiet with my typing, I have to literally look at the keyboard so I can do it slowly.
Okay.
I
Well,
don't want the mic to pick it up.
sure. I see your eyes drift down and I'm
Yeah.
like, oh no, what am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong?
Yeah.
And I just see my phone's on silent, but I see your name come up and I'm like, okay. And then there's definitely a moment. There's definitely a moment where you see me read this text. And do you want to read what the text says?
Yeah, I'm gonna read the text. Okay. And you did it as soon as I asked. Okay.
Yeah, so look for this moment in the episode.
Yeah.
If you can find us, send us the time code.
I don't even remember when, but try sitting back when you're not talking, just because the mic is picking up your breaths pretty prominently.
And so oh god.
Kerri, if you're watching this on YouTube or Patreon, you're gonna love this. Kerri immediately did this. As soon as she got that text, she did this. Okay, I'm ready.
I was like Homer Simpson receding into the hedge. And then from there on out, anytime I asked a question, it was like the microphone had like shit on it and like smelled like I would like lean in and be like, so Zach, what is it like when you have a camera in your face 24/7? And then I would just back up. And then I would just like back all the way up. I'm like, am I even frame anymore?
So funny. I know, because that's the other thing too that we have to worry about now, is because I love that people love the videos, and I want more people to watch the podcast because it's fun. It's fun to be able to do that. And we love that you guys get to see us. But that is also a new reality for us that we have to be aware of, like where we are in the camera and like how we look and like all of those things, you know what I mean? And there's a lot of moving parts that comes to this, and that's why we love doing it and we want to make it perfect. But sometimes while it's happening, I have to text Kerri, because Kerri is so great about being focused on the notes and like everything that's happening, that I'm thinking of all the technical things of like, she needs to be center. She needs to stop breathing into the mic.
All of this. I don't.
She needs to make sure. I know, and that's So
can you hear? I'm so sniffly though. I truly.
So stupid.
I cannot wait.
So...
I cannot wait. I never listen to these. Like every once in a while,
listen
I'm like,
oh,
let me just hear what the audio sounds like. Every once in a while, I'll listen to one.
I'm going to say it right up top. This episode, every time you hear Kerri breathe, drink.
Water.
But not while you're driving.
Whatever it is. And if you're driving, do a padiddle. Do you know what padiddle is?
No, what is that?
Padiddle, it's not peeing. For anybody who thinks like, I'm supposed to like pee in my car. So padiddle is a game that you play with friends in a car. Mm-hmm. Every time you drive by a car with where one headlight is out, you say padiddle and you raise your hand up.
How often do you do that? That it can be a game.
Well, and whoever has the most padiddles wins. Now, I played this as a teenager in a little town with, older cars where a headlight was more likely to be out. We don't really see headlights out because we have like LED lights. So I can't remember the last time I saw a car with one headlight, like that Wallflower song. Yeah. So, but growing up, I would see them constantly, and you'd say padiddle and you hit the roof, and whoever sees it hits it first. You and your friend might both do it at the same time, and then somebody has to call a padiddle tiebreaker.
Today's padiddle, now that like the light thing is not really a thing anymore, I feel like today's padiddle would be like when you see someone texting and driving.
It could be when you see someone texting and driving. That can be a little hard to see unless you're playing during the day. It could be a great time to play, might be around like dusk, sunset time when you see a car without its lights on.
This game seems to have a lot of rules for when and where it happens.
Well, you asked me to modify it. You said, what would it look like today? You literally, I don't know. I'm telling you what the game used to be. Are you sending me a text message?
No, I'm not. I thought it would be funny to try to do that. Make it look like it was.
Goodness gracious.
We should get to the episode. This is a great episode.
Yeah, Zack was so fun to talk to, and I feel like if you're a fan of Vanderpump Rules, you're already watching The Valley. I don't need to tell you to watch The Valley. And even if you're not, it's a good standalone show.
Actually, I wanted to say that. I wanted to talk about this for a second because I mean, we so rarely get to talk about the Bravo franchises on this podcast because it's not that podcast. But
No.
I feel like there are three types of people, well, four types of people in the Bravo world. There is the Vanderpump Rules Valley contingent that you only watch those things and that's that. And I feel like
me.
you're that.
Yeah.
Then there's the housewife contingency, which is very much me. And then there's sort of a below deck sort of world, like Summer House, like that kind of world that is sort of, it feels very much those are like the obscure
Southern
ones.
Charm, is that another one?
Yeah, that's another one too.
Yeah.
And then there's the Married to Medicine stuff, which I also kind of sometimes love. This episode is very much for the Vanderpump Rules Valley contingent. It's not for the Housewives contingency, but it's still enjoyable for the Housewife contingency. But if you are a Housewives person, please send me a message because we need to talk about New Jersey, upcoming Beverly Hills. Like, there are so many things we need to talk about. New York being shot right now. Please, I am that person.
Isn't it overwhelming to stay caught up with all of them? Or do they air at different times? Like,
they air at different times, and it's not overwhelming because it's a lifestyle. And, you know, if it's a lifestyle, you make it work for how you have to make it work. And so, like, currently New Jersey just came back on. I don't know what else is coming back on, but like Potomac just ended. And
how many are there now?
well, there's a lot. Salt Lake City's coming back soon, I think.
So many.
And they're so good. Oh God, they're so good.
And now Lisa Vanderpump has another show, Vanderpump Villa. I haven't watched that one. I don't think I can.
Yeah,
I can allow myself to have. I watch Jersey Shore Family Reunion, and I watch Pump, and I watch The Valley. And I'm so excited to be able to watch Zack on The Valley because Zack was in the world of Vanderpump Rules for a very long time. If you watch Vanderpump, he met Brittany of Jackson Brittany in college, and they became fast friends. And so he's been like, if you see Zack, you're like, oh yeah, I've seen that guy like at parties, at their wedding. Like he was like a not a bride. He was a male bridesmaid. He was a bridesman in the wedding.
Yeah.
So he's been on the show a bunch, and so he's sort of been in that world for a long time. And I've always thought he was so funny, and I was like, I always wanted to see him on the show. And he also is known for his sort of fun historical references and his talking heads. That's sort of what he's becoming known for. Oh gosh, what did he say in an episode? He said something like something about sinking armadas, and like nobody knew what an armada was, and it was so funny. And he's like, how do you not know what an armada is? But anyway, he's so funny and full of energy, and I'm so excited for the Golden Girls fandom and community to also get to know him.
Okay, I'm gonna sign off. We're gonna take a break, but we'll be right back with more with Zack Wickham. I'm Kerri.
I'm so sorry.
I'm so cannoli. Don't be sorry. It happens. We're all family here. It's fine.
I can't wait to hear it back. It's gonna be the best.
It's gonna be amazing.
Zack Wickham, welcome to Out on the Lanai.
Thank you all for having me.
Oh my God, so fun. I feel like your last name is a Massachusetts person's best or favorite name because I feel like I can hear a Boston accent screaming, Wickham! Wickham! Like it feels like something, it almost feels like an assault in a way, and I kind of love that.
Well, or an English major's favorite last name because it's Mr. Wickham from Pride and Prejudice.
Oh, that too. Yes, exactly. I mean, so you kind of cover all territories, don't you?
Yeah, and he's not a good guy in that book.
No.
Zack is very scholarly.
Yeah, I mean, I can relate to that. My Hebrew name is King Solomon, and people. There you go. Yes, and King Solomon also was not a good man in the biblical sense. So, like, I'm used to having a bad man be a part of my name. It's fine.
Exactly.
And to your point, HAlan, Wickham does sound like guys, we're all gonna hop in like Chad's, RAV4, and
Right?
we're gonna go get wicked drunk down in Wickham. It does sound
Yeah.
like a town down the Cape.
It does a little bit, yes.
Also, my dad drives a RAV4, so love that you just.
Yes.
Wow.
My husband used to drive
You
one.
felt it.
So I felt it. Well, I'm so glad that you and your hair are joining us tonight. For any fans of the Valley who are watching this, Zack, your hair on the Valley has sort of become like the stands to pay, like everybody's talking about it on the Valley, which is that people don't think that your hair is real because it is so full and gorgeous.
Wow.
And the internet is talking about it.
Well, I also feel like my hair doesn't it likes to do whatever it wants at any moment. So people will see my hair and it'll be nice one day and they'll be like, why don't you wear it like that? It does what it wants. Like, I try to do it, I can, but most days it just will do whatever it wants. And I say it's thick and people are like, okay, but then why does it look like that? I don't know. I try
can
my
relate
best
to
daily.
that. I can very much relate to that. I have this wonderful hairdresser who asked me how I style my hair, and I'm like, I don't understand the question. I literally just I do this thing, and then I move on with my day. That's all I can do.
Yeah, but I apparently need to get a little bit better if I'm going to continue because people are, I don't know if they're love hating or they either love or hate or they love hate my hair, but yeah, they are. I did not expect it to. I knew that people would talk about it a little bit. It's happened my entire life. It's not that big of a deal. However, to the extent that it has gone viral, that like everybody's talking about it, definitely didn't see it going that way.
It is a little wild to have seen the reaction. So before, I do want to ask you what your sort of history and connection is with the Golden Girls.
Yes.
But before we do that, I was trying to think of, because I've been watching The Valley and I've been watching you and I'm so proud of you and I'm loving the show. And I was trying to think of what cast members of The Valley might be, like, who would I assign as like different Golden Girls? So I just want to run these down. I want to see if you agree or disagree. So I'm just going to say a couple and you say
good.
agree
So
or
you
disagree.
already came up. Okay,
I already
cool.
came up with them. Okay. Brittany, who I love, that's how we met. Brittany is Rose, and that she's very sweet, but she's also a little Blanche because she's kind of like a feisty Kentucky muffin.
Ooh.
100%. And it's so Rose because she'll have one of those stories. She has Rose stories. So it's, well, Farmer John down the road, we always said, you know what I mean? It always like has one of those
It's
type
always
of stories.
trouble when it's Farmer John.
Always trouble.
Yeah.
So that is ding, ding, ding.
All right. I'm going to say Kristen is Blanche's daughter, Rebecca, because she's on a fertility journey.
Oh, okay. Then yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. I think Janet is Dorothy.
Yeah, except, yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, we're good. We'll talk about that later.
Wait. What was the accept? No, we have to talk about it now. What was the accept?
The accept would be like, because with the choices given, yes, she is definitely Dorothy.
Okay.
Because there's
Ooh,
nobody else that has that same attitude.
Yeah, Janet gives me Dorothy vibes. Like not in a bad way, in a good way.
Right.
So, okay, this might be, it depends on how deep of a Golden Girls fan you are, but Jessie is the Barbara Thorndike. If you know, you know.
Oh, if you know, you know.
Well, I do not know, so I cannot answer that. But I will, anytime you want to say something's correct, I will probably agree.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
All right. And then for Jasmine, I'm going to say Jasmine is Jean because one, she's a hot girl who dates girls. And two, just like we needed more Jean on the Golden Girls, we need more Jasmine on the Valley. Jean was a lesbian who fell in love with Rose.
Emmy-nominated lesbian. Emmy-nominated.
We love an Emmy-nominated lesbian.
We do. Emmy-nominated.
Emmy-nominated.
I was like, Emmy-nominated.
Emmy-nominated onomatopoeia. Phenomena. So then, Zack, it just begs the question, which Golden Girl do you think you are?
Oh, I mean, I'm most definitely Blanche.
Yeah. That's what I would have said, too.
I think I have a feeling, and yes, I'm generalizing here, but I have a feeling most homosexuals are.
Yeah, I would say, but I'm also like a little bit of what's her name in the Why did I just blank?
Sophia.
Sophia. I said I was like Estelle Getty. I'm a lot like Sophia. So I'm like you mix those two together.
Oh,
So I'm a
yeah.
slutty, but like older, wise, and like come with those one-liners.
You're definitely wise. You're definitely
We
very
all
wise.
have that. We all have that one who's sort of like our core, and then there's sort of like a rising moon girl. You know what I mean?
Oh my God. It
Yeah.
is very much like you're like a astrological sign. That's so
Yeah.
true.
Yeah, it really is.
I think
Now,
you can do that with Sex and the City girls too. Like, you
For
know
sure.
what I mean? There's that core one.
And
then
again,
the one that you like.
You're Samantha with a rising Miranda, probably. So there you go.
Ding, ding.
Yes.
and a new friendship was just formed in this
I'm just
moment.
saying.
You all just
I'm just
witnessed
saying.
it
Well,
right here, right now.
I feel like I'm an elder in this situation, so I'm sort of teaching the ways of the rising, scripted characters in your lives, and they will follow you for the rest of your life until you put on a pair of heels, and then you'll change your rising moon real quick.
Well, Zack sends me Golden Girls memes constantly. And so I was like, we have to have you on the podcast. You were also with me. You and I went to the mall here in town.
Which
and
mall?
We
mall?
went to the Century City Mall. It's your favorite mall.
Oh, I love that mall. I was just there. I just conned Joe Malone out of some perfume. Yep.
I literally eat at that hot pot place, Heidi Lau, like every other day.
It's a great mall.
Oh yeah, they have a great good little food court there. So like my boyfriend will go get the Panda Express or the Chipotle, and I'll get the what's the place that's like not in the food court but it's across from Shake Shack? It's like healthy food.
Tender
or something.
Greens.
Yeah, I go to Tender Greens and it's delicious. They have a great olive oil cake.
It's a great mall. Oh, yeah. Zack knows the olive oil cake.
The olive oil cake, nobody understands. That shit is so good.
Oh, trust me.
I personally think it's disgusting. I don't like olive oil cake. It's a bad. I don't like the taste of olive oil. It's a bad flavor. I don't want it in my ice cream. I don't want it in my cakes.
Yeah, I don't want it in ice cream, but the cake is moist. It's delicious.
It can be moist, but I don't like that taste. It's got that bitter olive oil taste.
I feel like this is a conversation for a different podcast.
Okay, we'll have it. Yeah. Okay, we'll have our conversation. We'll have 2 pound or not 2 pound the cake. So, but Zack was also with me.
That sounds like a gay podcast.
It does. So when you two start your own.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there's a jacket that I bought. Zack, I don't know if you remember this jacket. It was like a long floral jacket that I tried on when you and I were in Zara, and you were like, that is a Dorothy Zbornak jacket. Wait. And I bought it and I wear it all the time.
Where'd
you
buy
it
from?
Podcast.
From Zara?
It's Zara.
Oh, it's Zara.
I should get it.
That.
I should get it. It's all the way downstairs though. But anyway, so I was just like, Zack, we need to have you on the podcast. I'm excited to talk about this episode because obviously, it's about Rose's story is all about having cameras in your face.
Mm-hmm.
The episode literally, I feel like this is what it must feel like to be on a reality show. Dorothy's just cleaning the house and within seconds, like boom, there's a camera in her face. Rose is right there. And I'm like, oh, is this what it feels like, Zack? All of a sudden you're like, oh God, I was just doing stuff and all of a sudden there's a camera here.
I have a question for you, Zack, considering the cameras of it all. So I previously, when I was working with camera, I've always been in studio settings, never out in public, never a reality setting. And then I did a documentary film and I was in the wild, if you will. And I realized that when you film out in the wild, crazy people will say crazy things to you thinking you're somebody else because, they go to the first famous person that you kind of look like that maybe you're filming in the situation. And in my situation, everyone thought I was Perez Hilton filming in random locations, which is offensive.
So offensive.
In so
many ways.
So what I want to know is, as you've been filming The Valley, what's the most offensive person that someone has thought you were, but you are clearly not?
You know what's crazy is I've gotten it not since filming The Valley, but just my entire I get Dylan Francis ever since I moved to LA, which is crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then when
Who's
I was
Dylan
younger,
Francis? I'm so sorry.
He's a DJ.
Oh, that's why. I only know DJ Pauly D and James Kennedy. I don't. I'm not saying I listen to them. I'm just saying I know who. And Scribbles, DJ Scribbles.
I don't know Scribbles.
Is he still okay? All right. So you'll have to send me a picture. Okay. So it's a hot DJ. Go on.
And then Matthew Lillard. When I was younger, I used to get that all the time, and I used to tell people He was the guy in Scream. He was a
My
killer. He
mom and
was
dad are gonna be
Shaggy.
so mad at me.
Yes,
He
yes,
fucking
yes,
And
hit me with a phone, you dick. That guy.
yes, yes.
oh my god, so you got it down.
I got it down.
You knew exactly who he was. Most people are like, "Who's that?" And I have to explain. But when I was younger, people would think that I was related to him or whatever, and I would just go along with it and say I was his brother. I definitely have gotten a couple free like things or meals or whatever out of it. So
Nice.
but other than that, no, I really haven't gotten anything too crazy, thank God.
Wow.
Because you're
Well,
usually also with like a group of people, and
yeah.
they're like, oh,
usually
okay,
when
they're
we're
doing something.
yeah, usually when we film, we're filming in an area where it's either the people have been told there's filming going on so that, they're not, just randomly coming up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And do you ever feel like when Dorothy's just like kind of minding her own business and she's like spraying the plants, do you ever like forget that there's a camera there and all of a sudden you're like, oh, Jesus Christ, that's right. Like you guys are here. Or do you always sort of feel like you're on and you're totally aware of cameras being around?
I think, especially for me, since this is my, like my first season of doing something, it's kind of crazy. For me, I feel like I would be more aware, but I've actually, especially as the season went on, it just became second nature that it was just there, but you didn't really think about it being there. You just were yourself. I definitely think that that's the way like Kristen and Brittany feel because they've like done it for so long. I feel like it becomes natural. But for me, it was almost like maybe within like the first couple times, like I've done some reality stuff in the past, so maybe that's why it kind of helped. But
Well, yeah, you've always
yeah.
been like you've been in the Vanderpump universe for years now. So yeah, you've definitely been around it. So
But I feel like, yeah, right off the bat, it just kind of faded into the background. And I feel like but that means if you're constantly aware and trying to like figure out, then you probably shouldn't be on reality TV
Yeah.
because it's not going to work. You need to be able to be like, oh, it's there. Oh yeah, I forgot. Because
Right.
then you're going to be your most authentic self.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Dorothy really struggles to be her authentic self. Maybe not so much as Sophia in this episode, but so we're going to dive in. In this episode, Rose is making a documentary for her video, a class at the junior college. It's called A Day in the Life of My Roommates. And she asks all the other women if they want to be involved in the podcast. And I feel like through their responses of being in a documentary, we learn so much about these women. Dorothy's like, no, she's insecure about her looks, obviously.
Well, and Rose filmed her like changing.
She filmed her naked, giving herself a pedicure later, which
that's a mental
boundaries.
There are no boundaries. There's no boundaries when it comes.
No.
They will ask you like, "Oh, do you want to film that?" And you're like, "Sure don't want to film that." But
do they respect it?
They do. They definitely do. I feel like as someone who's on reality TV, you have to go in with, okay, hopefully they'll, if you let them film a certain thing, then hopefully they'll censor it the right way. You know what I mean? But you have to go in with kind of uninhibited, like
getting out of the shower, for example.
Exactly. Like, because you've seen those scenes in every single, because it's just like but that means they have naked footage of you and you had to let somebody in there. But it's kind of like you just have to accept that from the beginning. Obviously have your boundaries, but accept that from the beginning if you want to actually, translate right on screen and, be authentic.
Well, I mean, Sophia is, clearly totally fine with them filming her naked because she says she's willing to do nudity if it's integral to the plot because she appreciates an artist's vision. Blanche, of course, when she asks if she's okay being filmed, immediately thinks that it's a sex tape. So it's just so in line with all their characters, which is really fun. And then Sophia, when Rose is actually starting to film the documentary, Sophia is actually having a hard time being herself in front of the camera. And this
at
is
least authentically herself.
Her authentic self. Yeah. And this sort of goes back to what you were talking about. She's obviously performing. She's dressed like someone from It's a Small World. Like she's portraying the person that, she wants people to see her as. World. I know.
So funny.
She is really cute in that little dress.
She does kind of look like the little figurines that you see. That's so funny.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this episode also captures like how the different people are, like how different people are in front of the camera.
Mm-hmm.
Because like when I saw the Sophia, and remember when she makes the recipe and she's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh well, I want. It just reminds me of anybody that's been on and promotes their product. You know what I mean?
Oh
So
yeah,
it's like
she's the
whether
give
it's the
them Lala.
yeah,
Yeah.
whether it's the 80s or whether it's like now, it doesn't matter. That hasn't changed, and it's
Yeah.
really funny to see that and how it translates. Like, oh, nothing's changed.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And
Yeah.
like honestly though, like respect to Sophia for doing that, because when you're putting your life out there and you're letting people see you at your most vulnerable, at your best and worst moments, you should be able to get
Mm-hmm.
something out of it, which is like, I
Yeah.
can't blame Sophia for doing what she's doing. I feel like she's just playing the game. And
Totally.
I do want to play a moment of this scene. We're going to play it real quick with Sophia because there's just something we all have to talk about. I'm sure when you heard this joke, you had the same reaction I did.
Oh, no. If you want to move your product, you got to have exposure. All the great Italian chefs had it. Mama Celeste, Chef Boyardee, and Chef Balducci. I don't remember Chef Balducci. Oh, right. He didn't have television exposure. That was indecent exposure. He should have stuffed the cannelloni in the traditional manner.
The audience like laughing and then being like, "Oh, wow."
Mm-hmm.
Can you
Mm-hmm.
imagine going to this man's restaurant and ordering like a ricotta stuffed cannelloni and
I mean, kind of.
I mean, I kind of want to now,
Yeah, same. I mean,
like
but
where
also
in what situation was this chef putting his dick in a cannelloni for people? Like
well,
like paint that picture for me.
sometimes you don't need the prompt, the image and the whole just gives it to you. You know what I mean? Like it just like it I feel like sometimes there's just sort of like you look at it and you're like, well, something has to go in there.
or just like even American Pie, it's like what
You just
you're like, we know
know.
where we're it's like
Yeah.
even if there's not like a cylindrical thing for we'll find a way. Men
You'll
find a
find
way. It's weird.
penises find a way.
Okay.
It's like Jurassic Park. Life finds a way.
Kerri's like,
All of
you
us.
all are disgusting.
Yeah. Well, I
No.
mean,
No,
I
no
mean,
shame, no judgment. No, I'm genuinely curious. So thank you
yeah.
both for enlightening me.
You're welcome.
Also, I do want to know if that, because it's crazy to watch certain shows, and I think about it now where like they make pop culture references to what's
Mm-hmm.
going on in the time, and they'll say people's names, and I'm like, I have no fucking clue who that person is, or how it's relevant. So I wonder when that Chef Balducci thing came up, I was like, is that a real person, or did they make it up for the purpose of that show, or was there a scandal at that time?
Oh, they
I
made it
always
up.
think about that. Yeah, I was like, I
Yeah.
always think about that at the, you know what I mean?
But I always wonder too, because this is something that I think about a lot with younger Golden Girls fans. So like, oh, Kerri's moving.
I'm moving. Sorry, my foot fell asleep. I was hoping nobody would notice it.
We
Go
hear it,
on,
girl.
go on.
So I always wonder with younger Golden Girls fans. You're right. There are a lot of pop culture references, and you see that on other shows too, like 30 Rock, etc. That in 20 years' time, that they're going to be outdated references. So like, but the wonderful thing about this day and time is as you're watching, we have the advent of being able to Google it immediately. And I feel like I am that type of person that I'm immediately Googling shit. But like, Zach, are you Googling who Mama Celeste is?
Normally, for this specific episode, there was a couple names that they said, and I was like, that should be funny for a reason, but I don't know what it is. And I didn't Google it. I should have Googled it. I normally do though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
no stress on the Googs.
Yeah,
Sometimes you're
no.
like, okay, and you know what? There is actually, I'll show you, there is a really good Golden Girls reference guide for every pop culture reference
Mhm.
in every episode, every historic reference. So that book was made for you. I'll send you a link to it later.
Yeah.
So
I also feel like I do get most of like throughout, like I consider myself pretty pop culturally savvy, even if it's, historical stuff. But yeah, sometimes I need that. I definitely need that reference or that goog.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, meanwhile, Blanche is getting ready to go to a sorority reunion because
Mm-hmm.
she's a smoke show and she knows it. And she's just so looking forward to showing it off to the other women. And
Mm-hmm.
Zach, you are actually currently back home where you're from in Kentucky
Hmm.
at the moment. And is this the first time you've been home since the show has premiered?
Yeah.
Are
Wow.
you sort of blanching it up right now with everybody in town? Not like
That's
that,
really
but
funny.
like you know what I mean.
No, I know exactly what you mean. No, I mean, am I a little bit? I mean, I can't say that I'm not,
I
but
would.
it definitely was crazy to go out and have people. I mean, like the show is doing really well, and so people have already started recognizing me and coming up to me, which is kind of crazy. Um, and yeah, so but it was nice to be able to do it in my own city, like where I'm from. It almost had
Mm-hmm.
like a bigger impact.
Yeah,
But yes,
for
I
That's
would.
sure.
really
Okay, so
nice.
yes, I was blanching it up a little.
Yes. You
I
were
love
Blanche
that.
going back to
Well,
her sorority
we
sisters.
we need to take a little break because we need to hear more about blanching it up offline. The Blanche stories that can't be shared publicly. So let's take a break, and we will come right back with more.
And we are back talking about Blanche going to her sorority reunion. Now, she was really excited to go, but when she gets back, she's really upset because all of the other women looked really gorgeous. And there's
Mm-hmm.
actually another moment that I want to play here from this episode because Rue McClanahan, as an actor, when she gets really upset, it's really, really funny.
So good.
Rose, I am saying they had all had facelifts, and they looked absolutely gorgeous. It was the most disgusting spectacle I've ever witnessed in my life.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you're upset because the reunion went great and your sorority sisters looked wonderful?
Well, of course not, Rose. That would be childish. I am upset because I was not the center of attention, and nobody said I was the prettiest.
I have to admit, I can fully relate to Blanche here because I mean, I've talked about this on the podcast before. I will take any cosmetic surgery that is needed. I'm ready to do it. Let's go. Like the facelift is coming at some point down the line. Like I know this is happening. Zach, you related to. I think you were
One
nodding your
hundred
head.
percent. And also,
Yes.
the earliest age they'll do a facelift is 35,
Yep.
and I'm like, okay, I'm ready. Like,
Yeah.
let's just do it now. Let's do
Yeah.
it now, and just an inch up every. Like, is there a crank I can get? Just
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm Rue. I will be, and I love that youthful back then. Like, how old would she have technically been in the show at this season? Like 50 something.
Yeah. Yeah. Something
And we
like
have
that.
J Lo who just did the Met Gala looking like that at the same age, or like 10 years older, like or
Yeah.
whatever, like 5 years
Yeah.
older. It is crazy to me what beauty standard. You know what I mean? Like how
Mm-hmm.
it's
Mm-hmm.
progressed and like I don't know why are we so much more youthful now? I don't get it.
Yeah, well, it's because we don't treat we at least women. We're not treating women in such a way that we were back in the '80s, making
Well,
them
that's true.
look and feel like they were old when they were not old.
That's actually very true.
Yeah.
And I feel like too, Zach, and I'm curious to know because I feel like there's a lot of pressure on reality stars in general, specifically to get work done, to get the Botox, to get the lip injection, stuff like that. Do you feel like that's sort of been amplified since you've been on the show, the way it sort of is for Blanche after seeing these women? Or do you feel like it sort of just has been this way like forever or like for a while now?
Yeah, I'm a gay that lives in LA, so I've felt this way since I was, since I moved there. But I feel like just in general, yeah, like I don't know if it's been amplified, but definitely like, oh, I won't if I take a picture and it doesn't look great, I'm like, okay, gotta go work out or gotta go get a facial or gotta go whatever before I can post something.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you said this was gonna be a video, I was like, shit, I didn't get a spray tan. So like I feel very self conscious about how white I am right now.
No, well, I mean, you're looking at two incredibly pale people who like to wear
Yes.
dark colors, so like you're in really great company.
I mean, I won't get
Perfect.
on camera without makeup, so like it's fine. You know, we all do the things we have to do in order to get through this thing called Hollywood.
Yeah, and
So
literally the only
true.
reason why my hair isn't in like a messy bun right now is because I was taking at-home headshots today, so I actually had to
Yeah.
do my
See?
hair. So you're getting this is like
Mm-hmm.
once in a blue moon Kerri's hair.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're doing the best we can and we all look gorgeous. So
Exactly.
Rose ends up showing a rough cut of her documentary because, like,
Mm-hmm.
Blanche has been very much like, no, I'm not getting plastic surgery. No way. That shit's too scary until she sees a rough cut of Rose's documentary. And I don't know if either one of you have ever seen like a rough cut of your friend's short film or whatever. But Rose's
Yes.
caveats, you can tell, were really just coming through the writers who had sat through this poor experience where you go to see a friend's movie and they're like, the soundtrack isn't locked yet. We haven't color corrected. We might change the ending. And it's like, Jesus Christ, just help me
Mm-hmm.
watch your movie. And when
Yeah.
they have you sort of experienced that when you watch a friend's project?
100%. And I'll do the same thing when I'm trying to show someone. I'll be like, but like just remember, like it's not fully done yet, or oh, I haven't, put the final cut. I've done that too.
I,
So
I think you
guilty.
even did that when I saw you, because I saw you at the Valley premiere and you were already explaining to me, you're like, okay, so there's a thing that's going to happen and just know that it's going to be completely resolved by episode 5. So
Yeah.
I actually think that it was a little different, but you were very much like, I just need for you to know that this thing is going to work itself out and you're going to see my side of the story. And I was
Mm.
like, and then I was watching and I was
Yep.
like, oh yeah, Zach was right. I did. I could totally see his side of the story now. So when Blanche sees herself in this documentary, she loses it. She's like, the
Yeah.
camera doesn't lie. I look awful. And I
Mm.
want to play, I think this is our last moment that we're going to play from the episode, but Blanche is just completely spiraling. And
Mm-hmm.
Sophia's joke at the end killed me. It was so funny.
Because my worst suspicions have just been confirmed. My stunning good looks are fading. Oh, the camera does not lie. And that leaves me with only one choice. I am going to be perfect. I'm going to be gorgeous. I'm going to have my tummy tucked and my butt firmed and my breasts raised and my face lifted.
It's a shame to do all that and keep that hairdo.
And it's
Honestly,
funny because it's true.
Yeah,
And it's
no,
very
it's true.
relatable to me too.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I can fully relate. I mean, as soon as we started doing the podcast, like more video on the podcast, the Botox appointment was made. The things happened. You know what I mean? Like the lighting got pushed up a little bit more. Like there are things that happens to make you feel good about being on camera for the masses, you know?
Yeah.
No, 100%. I also feel like, yeah, like our generation hasn't really had the same experiences with growing up, whereas like other generations kind of were forced into these, okay, well, now you give up on everything and you, you just follow these lanes. And I feel like we got to experience it much differently, but also in a way where it's also harder to like buy a house and do all these like grown up things. So we don't feel as grown up. So we're
Yeah,
still like kind of holding on to our youth, but part of our
totally.
youth is looks. And so it's very hard for us to, I feel like, lose that.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, as soon as you're in your like late 30s moments, those moments of like, oh my God, oh my God, what am I gonna do to maintain? Because you're not old, but you're also not young,
Yeah.
and you're surrounded, of course, by youth as well. So like, it's troubling.
Well, Blanche decides like she's going to do it all. She's going to
Mm-hmm.
Frankenstein, herself together. She's going to have Carol Burnett's chin. She's going to basically be
Mm.
unrecognizable. I have no idea how much all of that would cost, just getting all new, just like
Well, I
new
priced it
features.
out. No, I
You
didn't.
did?
No, I
Oh,
didn't.
I was like, that would have been really great.
No, I didn't. But I
Okay,
will
well, if
say,
That's
anybody
like a great
does
moment.
price
I
it
mean,
out, send it to us.
some they can cost upwards of like 100,000.
Yeah, I believe. I mean,
Especially for all the stuff she said.
Yeah,
mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, she wants her boobs done. She wants a new nose. She wants a new face. She
Mm-hmm.
wants her butt firmed. She wants a lot of stuff
Money
done.
well spent.
I do love when she does go to the doctor's office, Dr. Taylor, whose office kind of looks like the room that you're in, Zach, since you have your degrees up on the wall behind you.
I'm actually at my parents' house and I'm in my dad's office, and yeah, my degrees are on the wall for display. I didn't just put them up for you all.
I love it.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not just a reality star. I'm smart too. But people know that. They watch your talking heads. They're very, very funny. Dr. Taylor looks like the kind of guy who would like light up a cigarette in his office. He's just got that like chill, weird vibe.
Yeah.
I also love that Blanche is so comfortable. She's like, do I disrobe right here? Do you have some kind of examining room? Or,
I know. I love that. I love that.
I kind of feel like I need to see you do like a reenactment of anything Rue does, because you have that accent down perfectly.
They hear it on the podcast all the time. And guess what? To the one listener who told me to stop it, Zach says he likes my Blanche. So
I'm obsessed with it.
Well, thank you. I will do so much more Blanche for you. He does mention, Dr. Taylor, that some of his work is prominently featured on the NBC Thursday night lineup. And this I did pop a goog on because that was easier than figuring out the cost of the
Because when this aired, it was on Saturday night. So what was Thursday had to have been Cosby Show.
So in 86 and 87, the lineup was Cosby Show, Family Ties, Cheers, Night Court, and as Rose would put it, La La.
That is quite a lineup.
Who on any of those shows? Like, are you trying to tell me that like
Cheers.
Rhea Perlman had work done?
No, Rhea Perlman.
No,
Rhea
Kirstie
Perlman
Alley.
did not. But
Kirstie and Ted Danson.
Okay, let's back the train up here for a second,
Sorry.
kids.
Oh,
okay.
Take a drink.
Kirstie Alley was not on Cheers at that time. It was Miss Shelley Long.
I mean, I know Shelley Long was on first, but I feel like Kirstie Alley would be more. Okay, go on. You're right. Go on.
Kirstie Alley came in like 87, I believe. Or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe she was on by then because Shelley stayed on for like 4 or 5 years, which would have been right in the mid 80s, I believe. And then it switched a little bit afterward to Kirstie. So I don't know, but both Shelley and Kirstie definitely had some work done. We know that.
Shelley?
Yeah, Shelley did. Come on. You don't think so?
I don't know. She always seemed very natural to me. Like all the Shelleys, like Shelley Duvall, like all the Shelleys felt natural to me.
I don't know.
Well, I don't know. Who do you think, Zach, out of that lineup of Cheers?
Judge Reinhold. No, he wasn't on Night Court. Who was on Night Court?
No, it wasn't Judge Reinhold.
And
no, you're thinking of
La Law. Half the cast of La Law.
You're thinking of Harry. What's his face?
Yes.
Whoever
that guy is. And what people at home are screaming because they probably know exactly who that guy is.
No, they know. They know. We're so sorry.
And Lisa Rinna's husband, Harry Hamlin, he's gotten something tucked.
Was he on La La?
Yeah, he was on La Law. Oh my God, was he on La Law?
I never watched LA Law.
Yeah. I don't know who I would, besides if it was Kirstie Alley, and I would say Ted Danson too.
Yeah, I could see Ted Danson definitely got some hair transplants.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
He got some plugs.
Well, he's openly talked about it.
Yeah. So then there you go.
Okay. Well, there we go. All right. Well, we solved the mystery, everybody. No need to Google. We've done it.
Rhea Perlman actually got surgery to be that short. That's actually yeah.
I do like that Dr. Taylor, despite the fact that he does look like he is so casual and doesn't actually belong there and that he's just pretending to be a doctor. I do like that he tells Blanche about all the risks of plastic surgery and that it's not going to necessarily make you happy.
Yep.
I feel like that was a really good
Smart.
lesson.
He might be a doctor that smokes in his office, but he did something good.
Yes. And then all the other women think that Blanche has had the surgery. So they go visit her in the hospital and are immediately the victims of indecent exposure.
Well, I mean, not really, but really. I mean, yes, really, but not really, because he couldn't communicate and he only had one thing to communicate. And it was the thing that needed to go in the cannoli or whatever the thing was.
Okay. Yeah. Chef Balducci, he did not need to go there that fast. Like, they're like, Blanche, and he's like, here's my wiener. Like, he did not try to commuate it, and he went for a second.
And that's
you don't need to show them your dick.
I'm just, well, how do we know? Well, no, I'm going to say that.
He could literally just shake his head no
Yeah.
And hold up your hands. Hold up your hairy hands. Show them your hairy
couldn't
Robin
hold-
Williams arms.
He couldn't hold. Wasn't he in a full cast though?
No, it was just a face. He had like a
Oh, he
paper
just had his
mache. It was
face.
supposed to be
Oh.
gauze, but it was like a paper mache hardened mask on this poor actor.
I mean, I'm not mad at it though, just because of their reaction. Like, I'm definitely here for their reaction.
Zach, how did you feel about that moment?
Yeah, I feel like the 80s, 90s, to even early 2000s. There's sometimes I watch stuff and I'm like, "Yep, we just let that slide back then." Like that flashing someone wasn't a problem. But I also feel like in that moment, I mean, he's probably on drugs too. You know what I mean? You got to give the guy a little,
Mm-hmm.
the
Okay.
writers might have been thinking that.
Oh yeah, because we do I mean, we've all seen Something's Got to Give. When you're waking up from that craziness, Jack Nicholson's butt was just all on out there. He wasn't intentionally flashing people. It was just Diane Keaton needed it to know that he hadn't quite come down yet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
All
maybe
right.
it was the drugs.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. You've
Look
made
at the
me feel a little bit better
the two
about
dudes
Chef
in the
Balducci.
podcast rationalizing someone flashing. Well,
Right,
I mean, there are situations.
Which I was like, that's what I was like. I don't want to play devil's advocate in this.
I feel like we fully just pulled a
whatsoever.
Creed. We just pulled a Creed from The Office.
I
and
was
we were
just
like,
thinking that when
yes.
poor Phyllis gets flashed and Creed's like,
Yes.
what? He was just hanging brain, man.
He's
Like,
just hanging loose, yeah.
and it's like, no, like Phyllis
No.
is so upset. She's like, a man exposed himself and he put his on a map. Like, I think that's what it was. I think I felt like Phyllis in that moment. Or
wow.
I was just like, ew, like, don't Louis C.K. these women. Get out of here.
Okay, now we're getting dark. Okay, we got to move on.
Okay. So they realize that the man in the bed with the paper mache mask is not Blanche.
Mhm.
And they go home and she's like, look, I canceled the surgery. And it's like, what's funny is that it's not actually because Dr. Taylor got through to her when he was like, it's not necessarily going to make you happy. It's
Mhm.
like, it's such a Blanche thing, which is, it all comes down to Blanche's vanity, which is that he asked her on a date.
Yeah.
And she realizes that, like, hey, you know what? I have charm. I have a special magic that is Blanche Devereaux. Like, why bother changing it? Plus, if I marry him, like, he's a plastic surgeon. He'll just pay
Yeah.
for it. He's a rich doctor.
Yeah.
So she
Which
did manage
goals,
to
again.
just, yeah, she managed to just, right. And Dorothy even says it right when you think, right when I think she's like, I'm in her corner, like she just goes and says that shit. Cause she's like, besides, I'll always be the youngest, prettiest, and most desirable out of us three. So, it's bless
It's
you.
typical Blanche in the best of ways.
It's typical Blanche. And that was kind of the episode. And I was so obsessed with it.
I mean, same. I'm obsessed with any plastic surgery moment.
Same. But I think as any gay man would tell, like, that's why there's such a strong connection for us in the Golden Girls, because I feel like they are, like, gay men are 12-year-old girls and 80-year-old women all at the same time.
Yes.
Like, I swear.
Yeah, no, I see that. So, Zach, I want to know, I mean, we're going to come back with our golden takeaways, which we'll explain when we get to that. But before we take a break, I want to know, considering that this episode was both about having cameras following you everywhere you go and also plastic surgery, what is the first piece of plastic surgery that you will allow the Valley cameras to see you have done?
I mean, if I get a facelift, I'll get it next
Okay.
season. Let's start out, go big or go home. You know what I mean?
Not like, would you do, and this is just me from me, would you do like filler in your lips?
I mean, I would. I don't feel like, okay, ideal plastic surgery lists.
Yeah.
I need something in my butt. There's nothing there. There's just,
Yeah.
it's
You
flat.
can wear pads. You can wear like pads
No, you
with
can wear pads in regular life, though. I mean, it's too much. It's too much for when you, like, especially as a dude, like, it's just too much
Okay.
for everyday
I was like,
life.
I wouldn't know. I have a great butt.
yeah, you do. Lucky you. But I would do the butt. I would do, let's do some lipo. Let's do some. My friend Kristen Doherty, who's on the show with me, she just got air sculpt, and it is a really cool process of like liposuction. But you are awake during it. It's crazy. But I would get that.
I saw her. She looks
like,
good.
Some sculpting, because I've never had abs, so maybe let's sculpt some abs in there. Tighten the waist. Yeah, just anywhere and everywhere, you know? Let's just do it
And
all.
I asked that because now I am a producer on The Valley season 2, so get ready. So we're gonna come back with our golden.
Ta-da-da.
We're gonna come back with our golden takeaways. Let's take a break. And we are back with our golden takeaways, which is a nugget of truth or inspiration that you can apply to your life or the lives of our listeners. I'm pointing to the studio audience. Let's start with Kerri. Kerri, what is your golden takeaway for this episode?
Well, one, I'm so glad that my friend Zack got to be on this podcast today, and I'm so excited and happy for you, and just everything is so wonderful about you, and I'm just happy to see your face. That's my like mini goal to take away.
Oh.
But also because you are here, since as we've been recording, I kind of realized that the Valley is actually a lot like the Golden Girls in so much as the Valley is the Golden Palace. It is the Golden Palace was a spinoff of the Golden Girls. The Valley is a spinoff of Vanderpump Rules. There are some familiar faces on the spinoff. There are some new faces on the spinoff. And in both the Golden Palace and on the Valley, there is an episode devoted to having to have an uncomfortable conversation about race. So the shows are pretty similar.
Wow.
I just hope we last more seasons than the Golden Palace.
You will.
Yeah, you will.
Your ratings are good. You will. I feel good about that. All right, HAlan, what is your golden takeaway?
My golden takeaway is, well, I was going to go in the plastic surgery route, but I have a feeling I'm going to go in the rose route. And, you know, consent is a wonderful thing. And if someone is, I don't know, maybe naked, sitting on a toilet, their legs crossed, while they are cutting their toenails, that's not the opportune time to take a picture and or video. And that's more of a life lesson for our listeners, I think. You know what I mean? Like, but also too, don't cut your nails naked, because I feel like that is a recipe for potential harm and disaster. I don't know why, and I don't really want to think about how it could happen and why it could hurt, but I feel like it could hurt you. So have some clothes on. Actually, have some clothes on when you do that. That's it.
I don't think that B. Arthur was legs crossed. I think when you're giving yourself a pedicure, you're sitting, you just have one leg up, like you're sitting and you have one leg up. I don't think you're crossing your legs in any way. So I think she got an eyeful.
Well, she got an eyeful regardless, because it's a vulnerable position. But if I'm giving myself a pedicure, I'm like, I have to like cross my legs and like sort of bend my foot up, which means I'm full on hole out. So like, I don't know if, I mean, B. Arthur
these
was
visuals
whole
that
out.
we are creating, they are some visuals.
Well, that's what a golden takeaway is for. Take it away. Go on, Zach.
B. Arthur naked, everyone. Go ahead, Zach.
I feel like my golden takeaway from this is that like you don't always have to be your best self as long as you are yourself in the end. And that is what I've always said. It makes you either are a good reality star or you're not, depending on how you want, if you want to be authentic and actually share your life, or if you want to try to be fake and, you know, try to make it look better than it is. It's like, it doesn't come off authentic and you're probably going to just not look as good. So
you don't seem relatable.
I feel like I take away that authenticity is key.
Nice. I love that.
Authenticity is key and vulnerabilities are beautiful.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, Zach, stick around because we're going to take care of some business, but then you have to be a part of a very special thing. Don't worry, we'll coach you through it. You'll be really easy.
But before we do that, everybody, you can watch Zach on The Valley on Tuesday nights at 9 o'clock on Bravo after Vanderpump Rules, and on Hulu the next day. And Zach, where can everybody follow you on social media?
You can follow me at Zack, Z-A-C-K, Wickham, W-I-C-K-H-A-M, on Instagram, and the Zack Wickham, because some Gen Z got my TikTok first. So the Zack Wickham on TikTok, which is super annoying.
Yo, Wickham.
You're going to have your own show called Wicked Wickham. I'm calling it right now.
Wickham's wig.
Oh, that'd be good too.
Ooh, trademark that. Trademark
Yeah.
that.
I already have the Instagram. It's already, just in case I need to start a wig line.
That's this generation. That's like 2024's copyright. Is just get the Instagram. You'll be fine.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Kerri.
Yes. Thank you all so much for listening. And remember, if you want to sign up for the GGVIP Club on Patreon, you can do that over at patreon.com/Golden Girls Podcast. And we will see you all back here next week for more Golden Girls greatness. HAlanScott/Sadie Pines. Where can everybody find us on social medias?
Well, first off, you need to know that we are a part of Mom Plus. That's Moguls of Media. Go subscribe to the Mom Plus and all of the wonderful the race chasers of it all, if you will. And also, you can follow us on Twitter at Golden Girls Pod, on the Instagrables at Out on the Lanai Official, on the Face magazines. You can go to Golden Girls Pod, and I am HAlanScott/Sadie Pines on everything.
And I am Squidsy on Instagram and Squid Eat Squid on Twitter. And if you want to do something else nice for the podcast, you can leave us a nice rating and review wherever you get your podcast.
You can do that. And now this is where you come in, Zach. So we say, and remember, stay golden. So we'll point to you and you need to stay.
okay.
And you say stay golden.
Yeah, he was
I
ready.
say stay golden. Cool.
Yeah, we all say it together, but we'll point to you. Don't worry. Okay, good.
Cool.
Good. And remember,
As always,
stay golden.
Oh, I thought we were supposed to whisper it.
No, that's fine.
Wow, I ruined it. Great. Thanks,
No,
guys.
that was perfect.
it'll come through and it will be stay golden. Everybody will just hear this one weird, they're like, where is they have a ghost. No, that was perfect.
Just Zach in the corner whispering, stay golden, stay
A quiet reality star. That truly is a spectacle.
And that is not me whatsoever.
Nope.
Out on the Lanai is not endorsed by Whit Thomas Harris Productions, Touchstone Television, Disney, or any of its subsidiaries. It is intended for entertainment and informational purposes only.
All names, pictures, audio, and video clips of the Golden Girls are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of their respective trademark and/or copyright holders.